this. And the ladies at West New Bern also, again, feel free to speak up, and Jennifer can move away from the computer to come closer if you have any questions or comments that you want to speak up as well. So this is going to be a bit of an interactive session. We will ask that you mute your mics unless you're speaking, just to keep the background noise away. We are recording this session so that it can be posted for others to see on the website as well. Again, we want your input, so unmute your mic, jump right in. We'll have some different interactive activities in here to gather your feedback during our time here. We want your input on this project. So with the Stanley White Recreation Center, we know it was a fixture in the community, and we want to understand from the community what the community needs. We are gathering information from you in a few different ways. We have a survey posted for anybody and everybody to take. So I know a few of you have taken the survey already, and there are paper copies of that survey at West New Bern Rec Center. A few other sites, Promise Place has some copies of that and that survey is online as well if you prefer to do that.
That's also available at the Omega Center and New Bern Parks and Recreation Administration.
Yep. And so, yep, you can take a paper copy. It shouldn't take you longer than 5 minutes to fill it out. Or if you got a lot of writing to do, maybe a little bit longer, and then just get those back to the collection point, and we'll input all of the data. We are doing 4 focus groups. You all were originally our first, but you are currently our 3rd focus group at this time. So we have met with nonprofit organizations, we've met with Parks and Recreation and City Services, and you are the community leaders that we are meeting with tonight. We will have an additional focus group session with some New Bern citizens, and that one is intended to focus primarily on the youth in the city of New Bern. So we have we are working on getting that one set up at this time. And then if you have any additional thoughts, questions, comments, please email those. The email on the screen. We have a website set up for this project. That QR code in the corner will take you there. It is on newbernnc.gov site, and it is under Parks and Recreation. Then Stanley White has its own dedicated page. That site has been revamped recently with some additional information to it. It has a question and answer section, some frequently asked questions to hopefully get you some quick information. But if there's anything that that you aren't seeing on there that you have questions about, again, reach out. And that site will be updated with all of the links to the meetings, all the documents that come out of those meetings, all of the links to all of the advisory committee meetings as well. So you can see what we've been doing and what we are doing going forward. So speaking of kind of where we are and what we're doing, we are currently in phase 1, which is the community engagement portion of this project. We had a drop-in session on August 31st. We were open for about 4 hours, and we had about 91 people sign in and come through. We are in the middle of these focus group sessions right now. Again, finished with 3 of them. And then we've got 1 more upcoming. And in October, we will have another public engagement drop-in session as well. After that, we will move into programming, and that's where we look at the spaces that go inside the building, the size of those spaces, and also adjacencies of those spaces. Then we move into conceptual design, which is where we look at the massing, the shape of the building, what the building looks like, and how all the different pieces fit together. During that phase, we'll have another public engagement session for drop-in for anybody to come in, participate in. We'll then go through an opinion of probable costs, looking at budgets for that, and do a Board of Aldermen presentation towards the end of January. So again, what are we doing? What are we talking about today? We're talking about the Stanley White Recreation Center. It was substantially damaged by Hurricane Florence in 2018, and we want to learn from you all. What does that mean to you? What does it need to be replaced with? What are the programs, activities? What goes inside of it that really best serves the community? A couple of constraints, opportunities. That existing location is in a floodplain. FEMA promotes relocation outside of the floodplain because of long-term resiliency. There are some issues in the past with no stormwater management on site, and that was in compliance with codes at the time. And the city has $8 million, just over $8 million in fully allocated and committed funds for this project and this project alone. And the breakdown of those funds is up on the screen. So one of the ways that we'll be interacting tonight is through this program Poll Everywhere. So there are a couple different ways to get in. So if you are at a computer or you've got a phone, any phone, does not need to be a smartphone at all. You will either text in a response, or on a smartphone, you can go to a web application and type in your response, or on a computer screen. So go ahead and pull those, get ready. We'll get started here pretty shortly. So again, if you're on the web, it's pollev.com, and text, you're going to text a code to that 22333 number. So our first question tonight is, have you responded to the survey? This is just to help us understand who has looked at that, and also to see if you are able to get in. So again, if you are texting, you text Rachel N 563 to 2233. Capital letters do not matter. And if you are on a computer or in a web application, you'll go to pollev.com and then /Rachel N 563.
And Jennifer, do the ladies that are watching, do they have a smartphone or a phone where they can text to participate in this?
No, they don't have their phone, but I can respond for them through mine.
Okay, please do.
I will.
And all of the, Jennifer, all of the responses are all going to be a letter answer, ABC, whatever. So also if they've got, like, if you've got pieces of paper and you want to have them write that on it too, you can do that, up to you.
Okay.
So thank you to those of you who have taken the survey, and I know you ladies just took that as well, so appreciate that. Again, please do get that out to your friends, your family, your neighbors. We want to get as good a response, as big a response as possible from the community to understand what the needs are there. We're gonna go ahead and skip this one today. What we want to focus on today is about what goes inside of the building. We want to talk about the spaces that it provides, the activities it allows for, and how those can serve the community in years to come. The existing, just kind of to set the stage here, the existing Stanley White Recreation Center has about an 18,000 square foot footprint. It has one basketball court in that single gym space, exercise room, activity rooms, a small kitchenette area, administration space, and a number of support spaces with storage and restrooms and things like that. There are different kinds of opportunities as we look forward for a new modern recreation center. So what we see a lot in a lot of communities similar to yours are maybe 2 basketball courts to allow for dual use of different types of programs, open gym at the same time as day camps, an elevated walking track. That can be really popular, especially during adverse weather conditions when people don't want to walk outside. Secure children's areas for younger kids to go and play in a more secure space. And maybe up to 26,000 square feet as well. The types of spaces that can be in a facility like this is a not all-inclusive list. So there can be education type spaces, community and gathering type spaces, and fitness and athletic type spaces. The fitness and athletic spaces may include things like fitness studios, multi-purpose fitness studios for different kinds of classes, a wellness space, maybe that's a partnership with a local health system, cardio weight room, climbing wall, walking track, elevated walking track, and gymnasium space. Education spaces might include art and drama classrooms, again, that secure children's play area, maybe something like what you would see at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A as a play element in there. Community kitchen could be a teaching kitchen, space for teaching about nutrition. Media lab, esports. So esports is a really, what we've seen is it draws in the teen population a lot, to have a safe haven and place for them to go and to do those kinds of activities. It can also be a place where a media lab is an education spot for different computer programs, or a space for people in the community to come and to use computers and to use the internet as well. And then community spaces, that might be a game room. Maybe it's things like pool and ping pong. Maybe it's tables for card games. Gallery space, lobby, place to showcase local art. The history of Henderson Park, Stanley White, the Stanley White Rec Center, multi-purpose media rooms, meeting rooms that can be used by the community at large as well. And maybe a stage that allows for performances and greater flexibility, something like you might see at an elementary school where you have a combined auditorium, gymnasium, cafeteria type space. So again, multi-use flexibility is what we're looking at here. So if you could, let us know what types of spaces you are most excited for in a new recreation center. Is it those activity and classroom spaces? Is it the gathering and meeting spaces? Or is it the fitness and court spaces? And Jennifer, I'm not sure if it's going to let you vote twice, so if you need me to do a vote at all, just let me know.
Okay, I was going to write it in the chat box with what they
Okay.
said, but they liked all three equally. So,
Okay.
but I'll write it in the chat box.
I saw that. Thank you. And then as we look specifically at meeting spaces, we understand meeting spaces are always a priority in a community, and always there's always generally a lack of them in a community. So for you all as community leaders, what size meeting spaces do you find are needed in your community, most needed in your community? And so the other votes we have are for C, 50 to 100. And one thing that's nice about these types of spaces too is we can build a space that allows to be expanded to 100 or 100 plus, and then divided down into a smaller space for meetings of 50 or things like that. So again, as much flexibility as possible, allowing for those larger group events and the smaller group events or medium-sized group events. Is there one space that has not been mentioned or discussed that you think would make this recreation center successful?
And I'll say this: if you can't type your responses in, please by all means just unclick on your microphone and share any comments you may have during this process.
Yes, absolutely. Loves, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but yes, we will get to that, to your question shortly here, as we start to talk about the outdoor spaces. But yeah, that's a great idea. So we want to kind of briefly touch on location as well. So hopefully you can see my mouse here, but this is the existing Stanley White Recreation Center within the larger Henderson Park that expands beyond what you see on the screen. There is an area that is proposed as a proposed alternative to locate this. Oops. Sorry. Sorry about that. To locate this recreation center in, to locate Stanley Park Recreation Center in, and that is this green space that's shown right here on the screen. The city does have right-of-way property along the front of this senior housing complex here, so there is an ability to connect this potential location with the greater Henderson Park, if that is the location for the recreation center. And so on that, if the recreation center is relocated, what type of space would you like to see at that existing location at Henderson Park, where that recreation center is now? And so this goes back to your earlier question or comment about any outside garden area for children's gardening. So community gardens is an option here on this if that's something that you feel is could be a good feature at that location. Okay, so we've got all right, so we have votes for E, a couple votes for E, community gardens, F, fitness, outdoor basketball court, and picnic shelter. Is there a space or a program that was not an option on the previous slide that you'd like to see here? Outdoor theater, amphitheater, stage kind of space? Amphitheater, couple votes for amphitheater, outdoor theater type space. I wanted to go through the results that we've gotten thus far from our drop-in engagement and from our online survey. If you were able to come to that August 31st drop-in, there were a couple of boards that were there with an option to vote for what spaces and activities you'd like to see at the recreation center. Each person got 3 votes. Colors don't matter here. We had kind of the top vote getter was really the indoor courts, with a number of those specifying 2 because of constant use of those. Arts and classrooms, as well as the cardio and weight rooms, were really popular as well. Indoor walking track, and some votes for that tech and gaming lounge. And performance stage, where we talked about that type of stage integrated with the, likely integrated with the court spaces. We had an opportunity for people to write in any other items that weren't listed. Some of those things that were written in were an emergency shelter, polling site, boxing space program, learning center. We had votes for both a pool and for no pool. A couple of courts, again, community pantry, trade programs, and spaces and activities for seniors. Similar results in the online survey, that the wellness space and the walking track were both really popular on that online survey, or so far are really popular on that online survey. Cooking, nutrition classes, and fitness and dance classes as programs and activities were really popular as well. And then in terms of elements that are important to the survey takers in the design of the center, safety and security, well-lit outdoor areas, cost of participation, and activities and programs that are offered. Oh, I'm missing a slide here, but we have opportunity here for you all to speak up and let us know, is there any additional feedback that you have for the team here? Jennifer, you can unmute if you'd like.
We're good over here. They like everything that y'all discussed.
Okay.
Yeah, they like everything that they saw.
Reggie, anything you'd like to add?
Nope, I think you've covered it well.
All right. Bill, I haven't called on you yet. Anything you'd like to add?
No, this is the 3rd time I've seen it, and I haven't thought of anything else yet.
Okay. Foster, anything you'd like to add? Any questions or comments?
I'd just like to say I'd like to thank everyone for participating this evening. If you have any comments or concerns or any questions, we're happy to take those and address them. If anyone does have anything they'd like to talk about.
And I will say too, I know that this was rescheduled and that was unfortunate, but if you know those other community members who were invited to tonight's meeting, again, feel free to reach out to them, share what you've seen here, let them know that it'll be posted, and also have them reach out if they have any additional feedback as well. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for your time on a weeknight as well. We really appreciate it. And we will be, again, having a number of additional input sessions and opportunities for you all to give your feedback. So we look forward to hearing more from you. Thank you.
Thank you.